Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 176 of Classic Elite. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
Not much. I just got back from the range.
Awesome, because you have been slacking on your shooting and itching to do that for a month and a half now.
Yeah.
So, how'd it feel?
It felt good. I went through about 81 rounds.
Nice.
I took both my action cams with me.
Ooh, we didn't talk about this on the episode. We were chit-chatting about it before or after we were done recording.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It wasn't on there, was it?
It was not. So why don't you tell people what you're maybe trying to do for the show? Which you might put
so I
on your
wanted
YouTube
to
channel.
I wanted to put up a YouTube video of me shooting stuff. And I did that today, and I took two action cams that I have. One is like Call of Duty Ghosts. It's actually right here. Branded. I got that. They had like a bunch of the like special edition Call of Duty Ghosts left over because no one bought that game.
Yeah.
So they were selling those cameras for super cheap.
Okay.
And I got another super cheap one at like Target clearance years ago. And it's this one, this little Vivitar. So what I did was I took the Vivitar and I taped it up to the target. And then I took the Call of Duty Ghost one and I attached it to my headphones. And the only way I could get a good shot was like directly on top, so I look kind of goofy, but whatever. It was a pretty good shot. I'll also look like I'm like 8 feet tall.
Not a bad thing.
Right, yeah. So one range visit, two different perspectives, like me shooting at the camera and me like over the sides.
That's awesome. Now, did you take my suggestion and, I mean, if it's going to be on our YouTube channel, we are a gaming channel, right? Did you take video game targets like Goombas, Koopas, Bowser?
No, I forgot about that.
You got almost everything else, but I think it would be pretty funny if you were out there shooting bad guys. Or
some of the aliens from Contra.
That would be awesome. Or you could play the villain from time to time. Shoot Mario, shoot Samus.
Or I could just dress up as Shadow the Hedgehog and go to the range that way.
You're cosplaying at the range. The people shooting next to you won't. They'll be like, "Oh my god, there was this guy with a camera on his head. He looked like an idiot." And then like 2 weeks later, you show up in Sonic cosplay.
That'd be great.
Is it a gun club?
It's just a gun store / range that's like 10 minutes away from the house.
Okay, yeah, we've got one of those here in town, but we also have, being a small town in Ohio, we naturally have gun clubs. Mm-hmm. You know, which are pretty neat. The gun clubs I've been to have been pretty awesome. Really nice layouts, good equipment. And it's like being a member at a golf course. It's what you go do to kind of unwind and get away from work and stuff.
What kind of, have you ever been in one?
Not in an indoor one. I've only been at the ones where they do, where they're capable of doing like different skeet shooting, and they'll have like bouncing clays on the ground like a rabbit that you try to pick off. And they'll shoot from like different directions and stuff. Right. They'll play games where they'll have 5 stations, almost like. Did you ever play Around the World in basketball, where you take a shot on the corner and then you move to the wing and then you move to the middle and you have to hit a shot at each spot to advance, and if you miss, you go back. They play those style of games where they'll shoot out 5 from a station. You see how many you get out of 5. And then progress on from there. So it's similar to not the scoring, but just the rotation of like when it's your turn and stuff.
Cool.
It's pretty neat. You should. I bet Nashville's got some gun clubs. They're usually not that expensive to join. You might meet some cool people to do some competitive shooting with.
Yeah.
Which when you have a chance to competitively shoot, man, that's awesome. It's just so much fun. It's really cool. Not that I mean, I'm a novice shooter, but I've gotten to experience it a few times, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing like hitting a moving target, man. Oh, you just feel so good because it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I've compared a lot to golf because it takes a lot of skill to do something well, and then when you do execute it, it's just yes. But I've only shot a pistol once. I've only ever really done the range stuff with 12 gauge.
What pistol did you shoot? Do you know?
1911.
Sweet. All right.
It was an off brand. My buddy paid like about $400 for it. Came with an extra magazine. Had a case.
Cool.
So yeah. I think it was a 1911. Or do you have a 1911?
Yeah, I have like a compact 1911. But I also I carry a Glock 19 now.
Okay. That's so sick looking. Yeah, I think it was that, but I may also be confusing the fact that you have a 1911 and we've talked about it before.
Okay. But
nonetheless, it was neat. We shot at a stump and I did better than my buddy in the competition phase, which was great. So,
the name probably involved numbers in some way.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And cooler numbers than 337. For sure.
Right. Yes.
So, yeah, man, how's the week been?
It's been all right. It's been pretty chill at work. Last week, my boss was on. The week before last, my boss was on vacation, and he came back last week, but had the flu, so he was gone all last week. And then my coworker, it was her birthday, so she went on vacation Thursday through Monday. Monday.
So you've been the only guy for like 2 weeks in a row, like a week longer than you thought you'd be?
Basically, yeah. But it's been pretty chill, so.
Okay, good. I had an atrociously horrible day.
All right.
I won't get into all of it, but we got some really bad news at work about one of our workers.
Okay.
He's got stage 3 colon cancer. It's just rough. So he's starting chemo soon. It looks like he's gonna pull through, but he's been with us for like 25 years. It's just devastating. Now I knew this for a couple weeks, but it's been tough to deal with. And then today was one of those days where it was just like every little thing that could go wrong did. So I had a customer that was being particularly picky and difficult, and my dad and I disagreed on how to handle the situation, right? So we get into a pretty heated argument about how to handle the situation, and that had me in a bad mood, right? Then I go to a sales call, which actually went well. It was a good sales call, but as I'm leaving, I get a text message from my bank that there was a suspicious charge on my debit card. That was definitely not me.
Oh man.
It was like, so my debit card's had been stolen. Well, as I'm getting this text, now I obviously am pissed, right? And I'm a little distracted. I should have been paying attention, but because I just found out that my debit card's gone, well, not gone, but the numbers are basically gone. So now it's a dead card, right? Backed into a telephone pole and fucked up the rear of my car. So I go from a fight to getting my debit card stolen, and then hitting a pole, and it's only 10:15 a.m. at this time.
Oh my gosh.
So it was rough. And then there were some other little things that just were annoying to me because I was just having a rough day. Like I was on a text message chain with my sister and brother, and all of a sudden my texts weren't coming through that were an MMS versus just an SMS. So my phone puts everything into a multimedia message when it's a group chat, so everything stays the same. And I had a weird setting in my phone to block data from certain things, so I didn't get didn't use data needlessly, and I blocked something that prevented MMSs from coming through, but I didn't know I did this. So I'm thinking that something's just wrong with my phone. And so I was just irritated. And then in the afternoon, I was talking with another new customer. And now my dad and I patched things up. It's no big deal. But we had a dual sales meeting that we both had to go to. So we're going there, and this customer had an idea for a design. And I let him know, I think this might not work well. We should maybe try this. And he was just really adamant. No. This is the way we're going to do it. You can do this. So I was just mad that even though this is my industry and I know what I'm talking about, they told me, no, I know what I'm talking about. You do what I say. And so now I'm nervous that it will turn out bad, not work, and then they won't renew.
Yeah.
But I'm giving them what they want. It's a horrible catch-22.
Yeah.
So that's been my day, which has sucked. And then I have to do actual work when we get done recording. So it's just one of those. But tomorrow's Friday. We got the weekend coming up, right? So that's good. Mm-hmm. And just like you're starting to shoot again, all the golf courses are open in town. So
all right.
So my
you're going to your own range.
Yes, exactly. So my only the rhythm that I was getting into last spring, already I'm here again. Spring's come early this year in Findlay. It's been like 70 all week. Little rainy, not bad, but just really, really nice. Mm-hmm. On Monday Monday or Tuesday, I came into work, and you know that spring has broke when I show up to work and our garage doors. Oh, you got something you got to take care of? You hear?
There's like a dog howling outside.
I'm not picking it up on your mic.
It's really faint.
Do you want to go?
Oh no!
Get your gun ready. Get your gun.
I got it. It's right here. I'm always packing.
So anyways, when I got to work on Monday or Tuesday, our garage doors were open, and whenever the garage doors are open in the morning, it's nice out. It's just, there's something about having the fresh air come through the office, drinking your coffee to get ready for the day, catching up with people. It's just a good sign that winter is over.
Yeah.
And I only had to fire up my snowblower one time to see if it still worked. I didn't have to snowblow all winter. It was like being in Tennessee, man. You guys got a lot more snow than we did.
Yeah, we did.
Isn't that weird?
I was like, damn, I got to buy a snowblower.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, I mean, I'm legitimately super excited to record just to have today, just have a distraction for today, right?
Yeah.
So
good on you, dude. I would have just driven home after I backed in that pole. Just been like, peace. Day's over.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but we already had the afternoon meeting scheduled, and we got through it though, so we're all good. And for our audio only listeners, I've got a new setup. Now our listeners would know. I mean, maybe they've noticed that our quality of audio on our RSS feed has varied a little bit over the last several weeks. And it's because we've had problems with our recording software. So this week, I'm trying something new, and it's letting us record in FLAC. So we should have a nice, rich tone. And then when I edit that down and export it, it should have a nice, professional sound to it.
Yeah, the only real downside to that is having to wear these flak jackets.
Okay, well, you know what? I didn't give you a chance to come in with a pun joke early on, and you still nailed the intro with a joke.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, and then also I'm trying a new pop filter, so I can be a little closer to the mic. I've always felt that since we've started putting our stuff on YouTube, that you've had a richer tone to your voice, and I've sounded tintier. So I'm hoping that the combination of all of this stuff will balance us out a little bit. I can have the mic closer. You can not change anything about what you do, and maybe it'll be good. So bear with us. Fingers crossed that it'll all work out and sound great. So But outside of that, oh, and I got my taxes done finally. I got them done last weekend.
Oh wow! All right.
So I've been putting that off and putting that off. So, and I just use home software, like you said that you're probably going to try to do next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I liked it. I've used it for about 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not TurboTax; it's a competitor of theirs, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it stands for horror and regret block.
Oh, H&R.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have, I think it's called American Tax or something like that, where they have someone dressed up as the Statue of Liberty dancing out in front of their tax office?
Yeah, I've seen those around.
We've got 2 of those offices, and they absolutely catch my attention. I know exactly where they are. I would never go there to get my taxes done.
Like you would just go straight into tax evasion before you did that?
No, no. I would go to the library. I would get all the tax forms that I need and fill them out by hand.
Oh wow, that's dedication.
It's like going to McDonald's to get your taxes done. Like, ugh. It's just maybe they're wonderful, but they just come across so cheesy that I'm never gonna go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward. Instead of buying arcade machines like I really want to do with my tax returns, I'm getting a deck built. So,
all right. So you're really going into Hearthstone.
Oh my, okay. Derek, I know he did an intro with a joke, but he's nailed 2 of them for you. Yes. And it's funny because I actually have been trying new decks in Hearthstone. I don't know if you read the show notes or not, but yeah, so I'm going to have a deck built, so I'm pretty excited about that. My back patio is embarrassingly bad.
Okay.
But the rest of my house is really nice, so I really want to get this done. And there'll be a walkout deck from 2 different doors, and it'll just look really nice. So I'm super excited about that. Sweet. And I made the responsible decision to not blow it on arcade machines.
Yeah.
And do something to improve the value of my home, you know.
I've been trying to do the same thing. Not so much building a deck, but I cut down a bunch of brush and I've piled it up, and like I'm trying to do a lot of I've been trying to think of things I can do, like you said, to improve the value. I was thinking of like putting in maybe a walkway through the backyard, or like
there you go.
Like a covered walkway, but man, that'd probably be a lot of time and effort. But I don't know. Like I was just thinking of doing like a little thing every summer.
That's my goal. I have a plan that this year I'm doing the deck and some landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year I'd like to replace my furnace and AC units as something really efficient.
Okay.
And then the following on the docket is to get my driveway done and gutters. And then by that time, it'll be time for a new roof. So that's my 6-year plan of crap I want to do to the house. We'll see. You know,
I think we were lucky. I think they put a new roof right as we moved in.
Mine's still relatively new, but this is 6 more years down the road. And aren't you supposed to replace every 20 years?
Yeah, something like that.
So I'll be pushing it anyways. I mean, maybe I'll flip-flop. Maybe I'll do... Oh, no. I'll do driveway before. So anyways, yeah, that's the boring adult crap that we're both thinking about doing. It sucks. But it is neat to own your own place.
Yeah, it's great.
So, well, as far as games this week and the rest of the podcast is concerned, we've got some pretty cool news to talk about, and then we will go over what we've been playing. And once again, we have excellent comments from our friends. So we will definitely get to those here in a little bit. So Dustin, do you want to go into news or what we've been playing first?
Let's do news.
News? All right. So I can't remember if it was last episode or maybe 2 episodes ago. We were wondering how Amazon Japan would work.
Mm-hmm.
Mike sent me a text yesterday, Mike T from the Cartoon Retrocast, and Amazon just announced that Japan is shipping video games internationally. So we can actually, it was weird, we were just talking about doing exactly that. And now Amazon Japan, obviously they listened to our show because they implemented this shortly after we talked about it, which is badass. According to Mike, I didn't read deep into the Polygon article that I found, but Mike made it sound like you do have to set up a Japanese account, but you should still be able to use your same login and password, but it'll still be a Japanese account. So that's the way the Canadian one worked. So thought that was pretty cool. And what a weird set of timing.
Yeah. Maybe I can finally get that Famicom album.
I think that's how it came up. I remembered talking about importing Japanese stuff, but I couldn't remember what exactly we were hoping to import. And I think it might have been that that Famicom chiptune album.
How else am I supposed to get a complete copy of Gimmick?
Of Gimmick? That Japanese only Famicom game? What's Gimmick?
It was also released in like Sweden.
Okay.
But it costs like $1 million.
And you can play PAL games, so if you find it.
Although the Swedish version is called Mr. Gimmick. Or is it Swiss? It doesn't matter. It was somewhere in Europe. That's all one.
It's the
country.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're the United States. They're just Europe.
Yeah. Like Sweden is Switzerland, is Poland, it's all interchangeable.
I'm so embarrassed about how hard of a time I have keeping Sweden and Switzerland straight. I know that Sweden, I shouldn't say that. Okay, I think Sweden's up north with like Norway and all that kind of stuff. And Switzerland is more centrally located. The thing is, I've been to Switzerland and still get confused.
Chocolate?
I didn't have any.
Why'd you go?
We we did canyoning, which I think I've talked about on the podcast before. We were just there and decided that we should visit the Alps while we were in Europe. We drank beer and went on hikes and stayed in a weird hostel that had a pot field in it. Like, there was an entire garden of weed plants. It was funny.
You don't often see so much weed in a hostile environment.
Oh, my God. He's on fire, ladies and gentlemen. That reminds me of a joke. It was like Mitch Hedberg or somebody made a joke. Some comedian that was like, yeah, you never see potheads getting in fights when talking about drunk people getting in fights. And the punchline was, because it's impossible. He's like, nobody just gets real stoned and then can go get in a fight. I thought it was pretty funny. So get your Japanese accounts. I think it's just Amazon.jp, and you should be able to buy stuff from Japan, which is pretty sweet. Also, this is just related to last week's episode. Did you happen to hear anything about a fan trailer for the Ghostbusters movie? Do you remember me talking about not being very impressed with the Ghostbusters trailer?
Yeah.
If they would have released this fan edit, because all this fan did was re-edit the trailer that was released, I would be a midnight showing guy if this was the official trailer.
Oh, man.
Like, it is so good. Oh, man. Now, I'm not any more excited about the movie. I'm still going to wait because I watched the original trailer and thought, I don't know. But if this was the real one, just search for fan edit Ghostbusters trailer, and it's so good. I'll have it linked in our show notes, too. It's everything that a Ghostbusters fan from the 80s would want in a modern trailer.
All right.
Like, if you're a sexist person and the fact there's females bothers you, I think this is so good that you get over that, even if you're, like, super sexist. I mean, I don't give a shit as long as it's a good movie, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, this trailer makes it look amazing.
I don't care as long as there's Ecto Cooler.
Slimer makes a cameo in the trailer, so there's a chance.
I'm gonna take the Ecto Cooler challenge, where I'm just gonna pour Ecto Cooler all over my body.
Start a viral trend for
No.
paranormal awareness.
Yes, that would be that would be awesome.
Get Dan Aykroyd to retweet you.
Oh man, that's such a good idea. We should really do that.
Okay. Yeah, supporting the paranormal. And we'll just now there's an instance where I'd be on board with Ecto Cooler. Orange drink, sure. Let's do this.
All right.
And it would taste sweet as I knew that I was helping paranormal awareness. But speaking of weird stuff, did you happen to? This isn't video game related, but it's gaming related. Google's AI department, DeepMind, which we've talked about on the podcast before, they have a system that they call AlphaGo, and it's an AI version of, or it's an AI program that can play the game Go. Are you familiar with the game Go at all? So anybody that's not familiar with it, it's that game that uses white and black pebbles on like a similar grid to checkers or chess. Now, I didn't know this until a couple of weeks ago, but Go has it's like substantially more complex than chess in terms of the different the amount of outcomes that you could potentially use. I saw some stuff where it's absurd the amount of possibilities that you could do in this game. And they also, I don't know if this is true because I don't play either game, but they made it sound like Go has a deeper strategy to it. So it's more reactive. So it's a lot harder to just brute force AI through it. And AlphaGo beat, I think maybe we did talk about this. They beat like the U.S. champion or like some regional champion like a month or two ago.
Okay.
And I think that you said, well, they need to have like a grand champion that they need to go after the world's best or something like that. And they did. They went after a grand champion, someone that's going to go down in the history of this game as one of the best of all time to play it. The AlphaGo is up 2-0 in a best-of-5 series, with the next match being this Saturday. They usually take several hours to play. And the Grandmaster's like, yeah, it's kind of humbling. I'm at a loss. Like, I lost. This is probably going to scare you, Mr. Internet of Things. This is some pretty substantial wits.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can make adjustments based on our own strategies, like, that's crazy. Now, the one thing that it can't do that the Grandmaster could do is Google would have to go and tweak the AI based on what it learned from playing this Grandmaster, right? But it would take several weeks to be able to do that. So they're stuck with what they have. But the Grandmaster could have picked up some nuance and make adjustments that the computer might not be ready for.
Yeah.
But still, it's just getting closer and closer to a situation where, I mean, are we going to start to argue if it does have consciousness or not? Is it really thinking?
Well, both DeepMind and AlphaGo sound like something we should kill with EMP devices.
Or that we could kill. Like if they, Matrix style, we just all have these panic buttons. Maybe there'll be an app on our phone, send out EMP. It'll kill half your battery instantly, but it'll protect you from giant squid like
Go Masters.
Yeah.
They just set up a Go board and bore you to death.
Hearing that it's like so complicated and a lot of strategy is into it, I bet I would really enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But I've never played it. It's 2,500 years old too, which is really neat. I didn't realize it was that old of a game.
No.
So that's pretty cool. I saw the article over at Wired. I'll have that linked in the description if you want to read more about it. Any other thoughts on DeepMind or AlphaGo?
If you want to see a cool movie that involves Go but is not based on Go, you could watch Pi.
I loved that movie.
Yeah,
That was
they
really
play
it was
they
black
play
and
Go in
white.
that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a neat movie. That was a thinker, and you felt a little smarter after you were done watching that one.
Yeah.
One of my screensavers that I have is it's pi in I don't know how many thousands of digits it goes out. So it's a subtle background, and it's just pi and all of these like black and white text across my screen with a little pi symbol in it. It just is a neat aesthetic look, but it's the number pi. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. I wonder. Oh no, never mind.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on then. Yeah, go check out the movie Pi. I haven't seen it since college, but I remember loving it. So we'll talk about it briefly. It's been covered to death, but the Coleco Chameleon seems to be officially dead in the water. Coleco itself, the holdings company that owns the naming rights, pulled out of the project. So there's like that third prototype we talked about last week that was faked. Looks to be the nail in the coffin because Coleco said they would send out engineers to see what they have, and we don't know if they didn't show anything or what exactly the details were, but Coleco ultimately pulled out. Did you happen to catch any of the issues between Pat the NES Punk and Gamester 81 over this?
No.
I won't get into the details. I just felt bad for Gamester 81, John Lester. He was getting railed by the community because there was a lot of people thinking that since he's an owner of the publisher of the launch game and he interviewed Mike Kennedy on his show, a lot of people speculated that he had a financial interest outside of his game doing well in the company. So they thought that he was aware of what Mike was doing and not speaking up about it. I watched a video from Gamester 81, and I believe him when he says that he didn't know. He gave an analogy similar to, if Sony screws up really big, it's you can't really blame that on Naughty Dog or assume that Naughty Dog had any prior knowledge of Sony screwing up.
Right.
And he's a developer, or not, he himself isn't a developer, but they're a publishing company. And they did pull out at the last minute, but some people thought because they stayed with the project for a while that he was part of the deceit with it, right? And Pat the NES Punk made a video. Games 31 thought that he was talking about him in it, made his own video. So there was a little bit of YouTube drama back and forth between them. But they've patched it up. All seems good and well. I just felt bad that a lot of people assumed that John was legitimately trying to rip people off when he's built an audience about being overly nice to everybody. And
Yeah.
so I just felt bad for the guy because I really believe that he didn't know what was going on. And I really genuinely believe he was just deceived.
And he seems like actually nice guy.
Yeah, it just seems he's been on our show before. It was a long time ago, but it just so in full disclosure, like I'm a little biased there, but I don't know. I felt bad for him. Like that would suck to be excited about having your game launch on a new platform and be the featured pack in. That would be tempting for me.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I wanted to bring that up. That I felt bad for Gamester 81 there. Now, I want to get to one thing that is part of Zarek's comment, and usually we save those till the end.
Right.
I wanted to touch on something real quick. It's my last cell phone talk in a while. I know I've talked about Project Fi several weeks in a row. But they had big news about Project Fi this week. It's no longer an invite system. So you can just get it, which is pretty cool. They launched with a deal where you could get the phone that I ended up buying for only $200.
Oh, wow.
If you get it through the project. So, I mean, hell, that's a pretty decent phone for only $200. And then you'd have a chance to just try the service and see what you think of it. But Zarek brought up a question. He was wondering, I talked about my calls being encrypted when I'm on an open network, or my data being encrypted. And his question was, does the encryption happen after you're connected to the Wi-Fi, which means that there would be a part where I was open and exposed before I went through the Google VPN? And I don't have an answer to that. I don't know how it works. But when I do automatically connect to an open Wi-Fi spot, I immediately get a lock key icon in my notification bar. And it's instant. So I'm thinking that there's some encryption that happens before it even allows me to jump onto the network. So I still feel pretty safe. But he brings up a good point. When's it encrypted? Does it go through the open network to a VPN and then back again? So sending information to the VPN, is that accessible?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so, though.
It seems like that would be a pretty big oversight.
I think an engineer at Google would probably think of that.
Yeah.
But big companies, you never know. They don't always do the logical thing.
That could be in the next update.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted to get that to Zarek. I don't know, but I feel pretty confident that it is encrypted and safe for open networks. Maybe that's how they got my debit card. I don't fucking know. Actually, I don't think that was, because someone in Columbus tried to use my card through a supermarket. So I don't know if they had like an old card or whatever, but it was declined immediately. But that's when my bank's like, hey, we're going to send you a new card. Which is a pain in the butt, because I deposit my checks through an ATM. The only card that I have now is my credit card. So I'm going to have to go into a bank to deposit a check or take a picture with my phone, which takes time to actually post if you go through your phone. So now I'm going to be using my debit or my credit card like a debit card and just going online and transferring money. It's tedious. So I'm like 7 days without my debit card. It's weird.
Yeah.
So here is an amazing piece of news. Now, I couldn't get this to work because when I use Firefox, I have it like totally locked down. No plugins, no history, and nothing. So the reason I do this is when YouTube won't load or something like that's happening, or Amazon's not loading right, I'll just go to Firefox, do what I need to do, and then come back to Chrome, hopefully when it works again, right? But the reason I'm bringing this up is there's a new emulator out. It's called the 3D NES emulator, and it only works on Firefox right now. Have you seen this at all, the 3D NES? Click on the link right there from, I found the article on Engadget, but it was also on Ars Technica and a bunch of other places. But this emulator takes 8-bit ROMs and makes them 3D, similar to those 3D remakes that we saw Nintendo come out with, those 3D classics. How amazing do those sprites look?
Oh, and the first one in the video is Castlevania, or the thumbnail.
Yes. So
I'm down.
Absolutely, please Google 3D NES emulator and try to play it on Firefox. Now, I think I'm going to undo a lot of my settings in Firefox to try to get this to work. But it looks like you might be, if you have ROMs on your PC, it looks like you might be able to access them through the site, or there might be some publicly available ROMs that could run. But I saw Mario Brothers. I saw, like you mentioned, Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
And some others that I just thought, wow, that looks so cool. The one I tried to get running, obviously, was Contra, but gave up after it didn't work immediately.
Did you want to beat it without getting hit in 3D?
That was going to be, like, I had a whole tweet planned. Like, the next step of beating Contra without dying in 3D. But, yeah, it's so cool. Just amazing. One of the, I won't say the guy's first name, but we had someone interview for a job with us, and his last name was Belmont.
Oh, did you hire him on the spot?
Yeah, we did, but he ended up not liking the job. Being really high on a billboard was freakier to him than he was expecting.
Did he whip all your candles before you left?
The sad part was he was aware of Belmont and Castlevania. Not that big of a fan of it. It was a bummer.
What a son of a bitch. Good riddance.
He did know a lot about PC gaming, though. So it was cool to nerd out with him a little bit about some PC specs and stuff. But this was before I knew he was going to struggle with the actual day-to-day work. How the heck did my camera... Wasn't my camera straight when I started? The heck? Unless I kicked it. The way that my USB cord for my webcam wraps around my desk into my PC, it's like really stretching it. So it is taut. If I pull my PC too far forward, it could unplug itself. And it's got an extension on it, so it'll unplug the extension behind the desk, which is a super pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, I won't talk about it much because, Dustin, you don't like Blizzard games, but Overwatch has a release date of May 24th. And if you're someone like me who just has blind faith in Blizzard and pre-ordered the game, there's going to be an early access beta like May 5th or something like that to the 9th or 4th to the 9th. So in May, I'll get to play the game, and then at the end of May, I'll get to play it all I want.
Is that a MOBA?
No, it's like Team Fortress 2, but Blizzard-fied.
Okay.
I don't know if it's cross-platform, but it's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, which is pretty neat. You can like change characters mid-match. So similar to a MOBA, if a team comp against you is particularly is working particularly well against you, when you die, you can switch a character to counteract what's working well for them. Which is pretty neat. And this was the game that had some controversy because everyone expected it to be free to play, but they're charging full retail for it. Because what they said was everybody needs to have access to all the characters. That's just what you have to do for this game. And I think that they decided to charge you to unlock all the characters and not rely on the Dota model of buying skins and hats and stuff. Because Dota lets you have, I think it's Dota. Yeah, Dota has all the characters available for free. And Smite, I think if you pay like $30, you get lifetime characters for free. But Heroes of the Storm and League of Legends, you have to buy them individually to unlock them. So I'm excited. I think it's kind of neat to have everything just unlocked, so everyone's on a similar, playing field and has access to the same stuff. And
every time we talk about it, I think of Firewatch, which just came out.
Yes, which is totally different.
Or Nightwatch, which was like a horror-themed first-person shooter for the Xbox.
You definitely have talked about Nightwatch before.
So, like, you start talking about it, I'm like, what game is he talking about? Is that a MOBA? Is that a card collecting game? I don't know.
Okay, you're going down the right path. Eventually you'd get
Card collecting first person shooter.
Blizzard's if they do have cards in it, that I think that there are cards in like Call of Duty and stuff. I could be totally wrong, but collecting cards are getting really popular in all sorts of games. FIFA's got them where people are. I think the way FIFA works is you buy packs, which unlocks players, and then you can use those players to build a team to enter online tournaments.
Okay.
So some people have spent just a ton of money to get all the legendary great players. So if you've only gotten free packs and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna get smoked.
Dark Watch. That's what I was thinking.
Dark Watch, okay.
No.
You getting confused with Overwatch has definitely happened on the show before.
Right.
So, but that's it for news. All pretty cool stuff. There's more to talk about than I was expecting this week, so good stuff. Dustin, what have you been playing, man?
I played some Shovel Knight. Okay. And speaking of horror, Solly and I beat Spectre Knight.
Oh, okay. Is he the second one you fight after, what was it, King Knight that you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that level especially lends itself to the art style, because with all the like reds and neon greens, and it just looks really cool. Mm-hmm. It was much more striking. Well, I guess because I'm kind of a horror fan to begin with, but it was much more striking than King Knight's like kind of normal looking castle. Mm-hmm. Looks like something out of Zelda 2.
Actually, it really does.
But yeah, we played that a little bit, and oh my goodness,
No, how'd that happen?
I wasn't watching Solly. We have our first child-related
video game casualty.
Video game casualty.
But now, Blu-ray discs are hard as hell to break. How did he do that? Like
you wouldn't like him when he's angry. What can I say?
He couldn't have just snapped that by hand.
I think he was trying to get it out, like it was in the case, and I think he was trying to get it out, and he may have like grabbed it on one side and just pulled it up.
Dude, okay, I don't care. I've tried to snap CDs out of anger before, when they would get an air burning or something like that.
Mm.
Your son is freakishly strong.
Yep.
Get it. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know if you want to go into the military or if you want to get him in some headgear and start MMAing other 3-year-olds. He could probably fight up to the 5-year-old class.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
But yeah, I was actually playing Shovel Knight, which made me think of it. And I hear like kind of a pop, and he goes, "Oh no, Dad, I broke it." And I look over there, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude, you broke it, like for real broke it." And he was like, "I want to play it," and I was like, we can't, buddy, you broke it." And he kind of like, it broke his heart. He had to go like find Mom, and like I didn't even get him in trouble. Like I didn't yell at him or anything, because he was just he was so downtrodden.
Yeah, that's one of those things where he's punished himself in that scenario. Like, you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah. But luckily I found a complete copy on eBay for like $13. That game is cheap as dirt.
Yes.
But yeah, oh man. Like I had to like let him cry it out for a little bit, and then I was like, "You want to go play some Shovel Knight?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we sat down and I put him in my lap and we played some Shovel Knight.
Is he still improving?
He is, yeah. He I think it's Spectre Knight, or maybe the next level, but there's you step on the lamps and you have to keep moving because the fire comes up like a second after you touch it.
Yeah.
He got to where he got through that without getting hit. And there was even a part where there's like higher platform on the other side, higher platform, and he would like jump in between it.
Yeah, it's like a triple jump to get up there.
Yeah.
I've watched people Let's Playing suck at that and like really struggle with it. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah, he has moments of like, I got this. But then every once in a while he'll just be like, I'm just going to run him into spikes for 5 hours straight.
Still, he's got your gaming genes, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how Kim is at video games, but you're really freaking good at them. So if he's 3 and able to avoid those fire pillars, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I feel like he's better at games than I am because like he can throw him into a pit and laugh and enjoy the video game. So I think he's at least much more adept at enjoying video games than I am.
Sure.
Because like, when the spiky things drop on Simon's head when he's playing Castlevania, it's like the best thing in the world.
He just loves it. Yeah. That'll change.
Right. Yeah. Then he'll get all pissed off.
He will.
Like, I can't do it.
And then you'll have to teach him about rage quitting. My mom would take away the Nintendo when I was a kid. She said I had Nintendo freakouts. It was her term for rage quitting. If you keep yelling, I'm gonna take that away from you.
Yeah. Now I know that when you get angry, it literally makes you dumber. Like the hormones that are released.
Yes.
Your mental faculties are dampened by your like biological functions when you get angry. So
it's the same thing if like some really pretty girl is like, hey, and you know you shouldn't do anything. But you're just distracted by the rush of dopamine and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's actually helped me, that knowledge. So because like if I'm playing something and I'm doing poorly and I'm getting angry or I'm starting to get angry, I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'll just go do something else.
I've gotten better, except for when I'm trying to record something for YouTube. If I'm trying to make a Mario Maker level or play a Mario Maker level. And I'm nervous because Zarek wants me to play his new level, and he said it's tough, and he put a lot of time and effort into it, and he just wants to see me at least start the level, which is a bad sign. He's like, even if you just get the first few minutes up on YouTube, I want to see that. So hopefully I'll be able to get around to that pretty soon. I need to fire up Mario Maker anyways. It's been a month or so since I played.
You should do a video where you just immediately, like you walk into something and immediately die and just go, nope. And that's the end of the video.
It? Okay.
It's like 5 seconds.
6, yeah.
Including intro.
You know, now that we have that nice little... I like how we do our intros now on our videos. No sound on the graphic, but just game sound underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 seconds long. It's our brand, and then right into the video. No songs to annoy anybody, even though we annoy people with the song on our podcast. Video reviews are a little different. When we first started, that seemed like you had to do that, and put freaking watermarks all over it. I like how clean we produce our videos now.
Yeah. When I watch videos, if you have an intro song, I immediately skip it.
It's tough to get through it.
Like if it's longer than 5 seconds, I don't see it.
Yeah, and get this, when we first started the podcast, I had a 30-second intro for the podcast, and Tony just used that exact audio clip for YouTube intros. So some of our first videos are rough. There's 30 seconds.
And that was Alex, what was his name? Critical Failure?
Yeah, Tiger Claw Radio.
Yeah.
Green Leo was his Bandcamp name.
Yeah.
And
that was a cool song.
I loved it. It was really, really awesome. And we would just use too much of it for our YouTube intros. It made more sense for the podcast. I like intros to podcasts, but YouTube videos, no.
Yeah.
So outside of Shovel Knight, what else you been doing?
Talked about the range video that was at the beginning.
Yep.
I've been trying my hand at lock picking.
Not game related for
no,
real?
Like legit in real life lock picking.
What? Why do you need to do that?
I don't at all. I just thought it'd be fun to do it. I made. It's called a rake, so you can like rake open a lock. It's basically you put it in and jiggle it a bunch, and the
Eventually, the
tumblers,
pins fall the right way.
yeah, they'll fall into place. You need a torque wrench, which because I had like what you call it, paper clips just sitting right in front of me. So I was like, man, I'm gonna try that, and I've actually succeeded 4 times, but it's completely inconsistent.
Which? By me asking which lock you're picking.
I've been just for convenience sake just using padlocks.
Okay.
Like I had a Brinks padlock that I got open 2 times before I accidentally broke the pick off inside of it, and that's gone for good.
That is such a video game thing.
Yeah,
You know.
and then I picked this one a couple of times too.
Oh.
This master lock.
Yeah, I remember master locks being the hardest to crack with the spin dials.
Oh yeah,
But now they have hacks that show you how to easily do that.
yeah.
But before, I had a lock for my freshman year when I played baseball. I got everything in my wallet stolen one day when I came back from practice.
Oh,
And I realized that if you had my lock to that an off-brand one, if you just pulled down on it and moved the wheel to the right, eventually the thing would just open.
that's horrible.
It was so bad.
Oh my goodness. That's like there's an audio video room that I need to get into at one of my schools, and I've never been given a key to it, so I just use a card from my wallet and just pop the lock.
This is where the hidden games are.
Yes, the CDI games.
The CDI
That's it.
games are in there.
That's the same school. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know you like your job and all, but are you trying to get into the Secret Service or something? You apply and you're like, I pick locks from the military. I can shoot Bowser's right eye if you ask me to.
They should be like, get the hell out of here, Bowser.
That's cool, man.
With my luck, it would be like there'd be some new up and coming like cartel leader in Mexico called Bowser. You'd be like, oh, you can kill Bowser? Okay, get on the helicopter.
And I'm just assuming that locks in Mexico are easy to pick.
They got to be, right?
I don't think we have any listeners in Mexico that would be offended by that.
Mm-hmm.
At least our stats don't get any hits from Mexico.
Right, yeah.
So did you even watch a YouTube video or anything?
I did.
Oh, okay. I thought you just
Oh, man, if I just like
freaking did it.
thought of it all of a sudden, man, that would have opened with that if it had been the case. I would be like, listen what I did.
Like, so what did you do this week? You're like, I picked the lock on my own.
I just used my brain power and made it happen.
That would be pretty cool. Sweet, man. That's a interesting skill to have. I'm not jealous, but I am oddly impressed. I remember trying to do that when I was a kid and thinking that it's just bullshit from TV, but no, I mean, you can really do it. We had those kind of locks growing up that you only needed to put like a thin stick into it and then you could unlock it so it would lock from the inside, but the outside, instead of a keyhole, there was just
right. Yeah.
a little tiny hole or whatever. I always found Bic pens to work the best. Take out a Bic pen and use the ink.
Yeah.
And that would work well. So, well, cool, man. Well, as far as I mean, that's it for the week, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I may have played some King of the Monsters 2 or something and just forgot about it, but
Gotcha. Well, last week I hadn't played anything. I made special time to play some games this week. I jumped back into Tomb Raider. I can't quite explain. I don't know if the game is just this good or if it's the fact that I'm really enjoying the Steam controller this much, or it's a combination of all of it. But when I play Rise of the Tomb Raider with the Steam controller, I'm just loving it. And I keep tweaking the controls here and there. You know, I told you I changed run to my left hand grip buttons. Well, I tried. They've got a really good gyroscope in it, in the Steam controller. So you can set it so that when you pull in your sights to aim, you can turn it into a real aiming device.
Okay.
And it works really well. I don't do that. I prefer using my right thumb on the touchpad to aim. But I was shocked at how good the gyro controls were.
Do you think it'd be good for like little tweaks in aim?
What do you mean as far as using the
gyro? Like big sweeping changes you'd use your thumb, but like little tweaks you could use like just like tiny little movements. Do you think that?
Unfortunately, it's either one or the other. You can turn both on at the same time.
Okay.
But as soon as you start to pull the trigger, if you have the motion enabled, it'll recognize any little movement. Okay. So as you pull the trigger, it'll move your sights off the head. So maybe down the road they'll have that kind of where I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe you could, and I just missed it. But I know you can turn them both on because I accidentally did that and wondered why it was acting so wonky. And now it's all fixed. I don't know, man. It's the best. Like, I'm having such a good time with that game. And I'm not a good first person or a shooter person just in general. But I'm ripping off headshots like crazy with this controller. It's just dumb, medium skilled AI. So if it was real, I probably would struggle. But the real reason I turned off the gyro, even though it worked well, when it gets frantic and there's a bunch of enemies, I found myself freaking out and overcompensating and moving my hands too much. Yeah. So that's what made me go back the other way. But I can see a lot of games as being really cool, and it makes me think that the Oculus, or not the Oculus, the touch controls that are coming with the Vive will probably be awesome. Yeah. Also, that card game that I talked about, Sentinels of the Universe, played that with my buddies last night.
Was that the theme song for the Highlander series?
Sentinels of the Universe?
Yeah.
I never watched Highlander.
It sucked. Don't bother.
Dude, I think I saw a screenshot of Highlander randomly for some reason. Maybe it's on Netflix or something now. Just the other day, it was the guy that played Punisher and the guy from Hung, that HBO show. Is that the same guy as Highlander? No. Because the screenshot that I saw, or the image I saw in whatever news aggregator I was looking at, it looked just like him. Huh. It was cool. But I didn't think it was the same guy.
If it was the original movies, then it was Christopher Lambert, Raiden himself from Mortal Kombat.
You know what? They do kind of look alike. All right. Okay. There we go. There's answers to mix up. Sentinels of the Universe, we ramped up our difficulty this time. I ended up buying the expansion. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. So they have the expansion, so I don't want to limit what they have, what they can play. Like, I don't want to, if they play with me, I don't want it to be gimped. We tried a harder, more complex boss and beat it on the last turn. I was down to 1 health point. My buddy Josh was down to health point, and Matt had a few more than that. But one more turn and we were done, and I couldn't even attack because there was a spell up at the time where if I attacked the main enemy, she would automatically attack back. So if I would do that, it would kill me, and after one person dies, I think the round might end if you lose even one character. Okay. So it was fun, close game, and I feel like an idiot because I'm lost because I'm new to it and they know the nuances. But hell, they were patient with me in League of Legends, and I never came close to getting reasonable at that game. So I don't feel too bad them having to be patient with me.
That's the worst thing when you're doing like you're doing something new, playing some new game, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll do this, and you do the thing, and everybody kind of looks down at it and then looks at you, and you're like, uh-oh. Like they're like, are you sure you want to do that? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I did something stupid.
I had that yesterday. I'm like, I even said, let's see if you guys get mad at me for this one. And I legitimately tried to do it correctly and pulled the wrong card. So, and then also I've been getting into Hearthstone lately. I've been out of it for a couple of months, but it's been just there's news about it. They're coming out with a new expansion that stuff that's I think they have something that's going to help new people build decks better than what they have now. There's a new expansion coming out soon. And one of my favorite YouTube or internet dudes is Day9. I love that guy. And I've just been playing his recent decks that he puts on YouTube. He has fun with the game versus trying to grind to become legend or whatever. He's played to rank up before, but he's just been having fun with it lately. So I've been trying some of the decks that he uses, and they've been really fun. I've got a shaman deck that it's just really fun. You get a whole bunch of dudes out on the board, and it's a really annoying deck to play against, so I know I'm frustrating other people. It's fun. It's been cool.
It's a double satisfaction.
Exactly. Not only am I winning, but I'm getting some rage quits, which is just fantastic. So, yeah, I've been doing that, and that's been pretty much it for gaming for me. I'm going to be sad when Tomb Raider's done, but I don't think I'm going to get the DLC. You will be proud of me, though. I do actually take time to look for side tombs to go into.
Hey, all right.
Now, I won't look a lot, so I give up pretty easily, but I do at least look around. So that's a step in the right direction for me. And then let's get into our fan correspondence, or I should say listener correspondence. I feel weird saying fans.
Yeah.
But our listener correspondence. If you are interested in writing us an email, like if you're from a multi-channel network and you'd like to sign us up, please contact us at classicelite@gmail.com. That's classic L337. I hope that joke callback rings with a few people and they don't think I'm actually trying to look for an MCN right now. But yeah, let's get to our YouTube comments, and then we will call it a show. We did hear again from Tecmo Balls. It was 2 episodes ago from this one.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, I had a Mongoose kid in my neighborhood growing up. The same kid that had every single Thundercat figure. I myself had a Haro Shredder bike and loved it, while his Mongoose would pop tires every other week. So that's awesome.
Take that, you stupid rich kid.
You know what? That my buddy that was the Mongoose kid in the neighborhood had Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Oh, man.
And the first time I ever played a Sega was over at his house. He
What'd
had
you
Sonic the Hedgehog.
God.
While eating watermelon Jolly Ranchers. Like I just so vividly remember this. I think I've talked about it before. Whenever I eat Jolly Rancher that's watermelon flavored, I'm immediately taken back to that and think of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, my link was Ecto Cooler and Friday the 13th on NES.
Nice. Okay, that's a good combo.
Yeah.
Even though you can get lost, I would argue I played the better game. I had a hard time with
Absolutely.
Friday the 13th.
My sister, my eldest sister, she went like decades without playing that game. She was super good at it when it was still new.
Mm-hmm.
And went decades, sat down, played it, beat it.
Wow.
Yeah, twice. Like, she went through it twice.
That's pretty cool. I remember I had a babysitter watching me play Mega Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Woodman stage, she said, when you get to the point right before you get to Woodman's thing and you have those road runners that jump over you, she said that for whatever reason that reminded her of Friday the 13th, the other game.
Mhm.
She had played that, but not Mega Man, and that always stuck out to me because that made me think Friday the 13th was as good as Mega Man.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So I rented it and did not care for it too much.
You know, I think she did that on our first Extra Life. That's when we did that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a minute. That was a minute ago. Good gravy.
I think that's when you reached out to. Maybe that was your second one that you did. But it was one of your Extra Lives that got us to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
I was just assuming it was the first one because it was so long ago. So yeah, Tecmo Balls. Thanks for writing in. I don't feel like you have to write in all the time, but I'm very happy to hear that you're going to make an effort to comment more frequently because, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You've been with us for so long. That's so badass. So thanks, man. And then do you want to get to Zarek's comment, and then I'll go through our good buddy Dumez?
Yeah. All right. He says, Dragon Punch. That sounds delicious.
I told you.
I wasn't impressed with the Ghostbusters trailer either. It seemed very goofy. The ghosts were just brightly colored neon things. The original Ghostbusters was sort of spooky at times. That's true. That librarian down in the library, when she like flips out and she's like, yeah.
Absolutely. And I now, to be fair, if you go on YouTube and watch the original Ghostbusters trailer, it was terrible too.
Yeah, but it was like 1985 or something.
Yeah, where
They had
trailers
a reason.
weren't. Yeah, that was the time where they were like, "Hey, Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah.
Harold
What
Ramis."
What else are you gonna do? The internet's not a thing.
Yeah,
Go to
exactly.
movies.
Remember these guys from SNL? We got Aykroyd and Murray, and there you go.
We even threw in a black guy.
Ernie Hudson was so good in that movie.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He has so many just key lines that are just so memorable. When even as a kid, like there were some adult jokes, like the ghost blowjob scene or whatever, like that went over my head.
Mm-hmm.
One that didn't was he's like, if there's a steady paycheck, I'll believe anything you want.
Yeah.
I got that. And then when he's in the car with Ray, and that's when they have the conversation about the night as black as sackcloth, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, that kind of stuff. That takes place with Winston. And then Winston was the guy that's like, Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Like, Ernie Hudson was so good in that. I loved it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, sorry.
Zero goes on to say, this thing just seems goofy 100%. Wait, this thing just seems 100% goofy. The humor seemed a lot more silly than in the original, and that's really saying something.
Yes.
He said, I've seen Deadpool. Did you see Deadpool?
I didn't, and I feel like an asshole, so we won't talk about it.
I went and saw Deadpool.
Did you like it?
It was all right.
Okay.
I feel like,
Maybe the hype ruined it for you a bit.
yeah, a little bit. Because I was like, oh my goodness. And I went and saw it, and I was like, man, it was all right. So,
I haven't laughed real hard at a movie in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh really hard at YouTube stuff. I'm not laughing that much at like grade A, under A. Have you happened to see his video on iPhones or just smartphones? He does an amazing video on the silliness of iPhones. He's like, I can tell you what every new phone that's coming out is going to look like. And it's just a really funny way of saying what we all know. He's like, it's 99% screen. There's only so much you can do. They're just going to get a little taller and a little bigger. And then it's really neat. So I would recommend going and watching grade A, under A's video about cell phones. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I feel like I need to temper people's expectations about Deadpool.
That's making me think that I'll just wait until I can rent it. I did that with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I didn't lose anything from that.
Yeah. Man, I need to see that again. That movie was great.
It was good. Oh, speaking of Blu-ray, sorry, Zach, we'll finish your comment here in a second. I'm pissed.
Okay.
There's new encryption for Blu-rays that Fox is using. So, what doesn't make sense is I bought the Peanuts movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I could very easily, without any special software, I think, put the DVD in my drive and rip the DVD. Because the thing I bought, it was the collector's edition, which is completely bullshit to say that's collector's edition. There's only 1 hour of special features, and the digital copy has to be through that ultralight crap, or ultraviolet, instead of iTunes, or iTunes. No Google Play, no Amazon. Like, it's just annoying. Well, anyways, this new encryption doesn't let you rip the Blu-ray, even though I could easily rip the DVD. They're in the same frickin' box. I could rip the DVD and put that on my server, but I can't rip the Blu-ray. There's errors and stuff in it.
Huh.
And I mean, eventually they'll figure out a way to do it, but
Yeah.
it's annoying. I bought it. Like, why can't I put it on my own server? Like, if you catch me sharing it, that's fine, but I'm not. Like, I should be able to take my media and back it up.
No.
So yeah, I was. The movie's pretty neat though. I didn't see all of it, but so far a thumbs up. It's pretty cool. Some good callbacks, great animation. But yeah, it made me mad. So you know what I did?
What'd you do?
Stole it. Fuck 'em. I pirated it because I need it on my server. I bought it.
Well, you technically didn't steal it. You just have the digital copy.
Well, I went through nefarious means to get a digital version.
That's why your debit card got stolen.
That's why it got stolen. So yeah, it was just annoying. There's another piece of ripping software called Blue Monkey. I use Make MKV.
Okay.
And I think I might buy a license to Blue Monkey if
That's a great name.
I know, right? If it's consistently breaking this new copyright from Fox, then I might give them the $30 to unlock that license. Make MKV's in beta right now, and it's free, so I use that. But okay, back to Zarek. Sorry, that made me mad.
All right, so Zarek liked Deadpool. He says, I would like more superhero movies to have adult themes like Deadpool did. I'm also not a fan of racing simulators. I like them to have an arcade style. Mario Kart is my favorite. The most realistic racing game that I like is Burnout Paradise, which is a fantastic game. It doesn't hurt that they use a Guns N' Roses song as the intro, and that game has a fantastic soundtrack, just in general. Like, probably it's as good but different than Horizons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried Paradise, and when it felt too open world for what I was in the mood for, and haven't gone back to it. But I've heard so many people say it's so good.
Oh yeah, does Rocket League count as a racing game? No.
No.
It's remote control soccer.
That'd be a great mod, though. Because you could put it on those slot car tracks we would get as kids. That would be cool.
It would be cool if the track was on the sides of the walls.
Yes.
And it was like A to B, and if you got hit, you like fell down and had to start all the way over.
I mean, you end up on that stupid wall and backwards anyways, so a lot of us would be used to it. That'd be cool.
And it wouldn't be like a one-shot thing, like you cross the finish line and you win. You'd have to do it like the person who gets across the finish line the most time wins.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like you go across the finish line and start back at the bottom and do your whole circuit over again.
That'd be cool.
I'm an ideas man. I need to start getting paid for this stuff.
This is. I feel bad, like I'm taking advantage of you.
What was he going to say? I looked up the 360 steering wheel. It won't plug and play, but people have figured out ways to make it work. You'll have to do some setting up.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty excited about No Man's Sky. It's releasing pretty close to my birthday, and there's always a great game that releases near my birthday. It's never failed me. I even sent and pre-ordered it. I plan to name the planets after my subs. That is brilliant.
Yes.
I would like there to be gas giants. They would require special ships to visit the planet. You could fly into the atmosphere and gather resources from the air. Maybe there could even be life forms that have evolved to survive inside the planet's harsh atmosphere. They would be like the fish of our ocean, but much crazier, of course. Oh man,
That's a brilliant idea.
yeah. Can you imagine the horror of like some sort of galactic anglerfish?
That's just procedurally generated, so you can't even like comprehend what it looks like. It's just going to be this random scary thing.
Yeah, you'll see this bright light underneath in the vast gas giant, and you start going towards it.
And I'm picturing it being like a red or orange kind of haziness to it.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it comes into like a clear view when it's in attack mode.
Yeah.
You know, oh, that would be sweet.
Ugh. That's one thing that makes me feel uneasy, like being underwater in a video game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for some reason. Like even back when I played Oblivion, like I would go underneath the water and like I would get like antsy. Like more antsy than playing a horror game.
I get frustrated because you always swim differently and you usually run out of breath. Tomb Raider's got some of that, but it's not too bad. Especially after I changed the trigger to make myself sprint. That also made myself swim faster. And then eventually I unlocked something that let me breathe underwater, so that anxiety is gone. I see what you're talking about. It wouldn't make me scared, but drowning is one of the scariest ways for me to think about dying.
Yeah.
Although I've heard if you don't think you're going to make it, you should just try to take a big inhale of water, and it actually releases a euphoric feeling before you pass away. So it's one of those things where if you're stuck, you could end it happily, potentially. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard it, and if I'm ever drowning, I'm not gonna lie. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, hold my breath sucks. I might as well try this out. I'm not getting out of this in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would be that guy where I'd be like, well, I'm not going to make it. Take the big deep breath of water, and then somebody grabs me.
Well, that's the risk you take when you're inhaling water. So.
Oh, okay. That's a great sentence. All right. Zarek says, BT dubs, there is in fact a surface to land on in a gas giant. They believe there will be normal-sized solid planets inside of gas giants, but they would be very dense and made up of only heavy metals.
Elements.
Oh, yeah, heavy elements. Excuse me. I was thinking of my favorite music genres, I think. BT dubs again. I've read sci-fi books where they used gas giants as weapons.
Cool.
They stole my damn idea.
This is the Google talk. We can skip that paragraph.
Yes. Okay, let's see. I think you should use some tech to catch. Oh, okay. I think you should use some tech to catch those kids. They make GPS devices that are smaller than quarters. You can sync one to your cell phone and then take apart the light and hide the GPS inside of it. If someone steals it, you can track them down. You could just call the cops when you find it, or you can go Batman on them. Dustin pounces on the unsuspecting thief. He then yells at the thief in a gravelly voice, "Where's the light?" The thief looks into Dustin's crazy eyes and says, "What are you talking about, man? Who are you?" Dustin curls his fist into the thief's shirt, pulling him in close to say, "I'm Bat Dad." As a look of confusion crosses the child's face, Dustin headbutts him, effectively knocking him unconscious.
Bam. Okay, so we need to get you and Zarek to come up with a rough outline of a good plot. I think you two, I think he could clearly write the script, the dialogue, and you give him the general outline, the starting point.
All right.
And then I'll star because I could obviously be an actor.
Right, yeah.
I think
and then we just We just decide what island to buy.
That's it.
That's it.
Did you? Crap, who was it? I don't know. I saw some guy in Congress ask a general about militarizing an island, or maybe it was Guantanamo or something. I don't know. I don't even know if Guantanamo is an island. It's just on the. I don't know. Anyways, this congressman point blank asked a military representative in Congress if he was concerned about the island tipping over after all of the extra stuff was put there. And you could see the military general like, we haven't considered that, but we don't anticipate it to be an issue. Like, what's this guy think? Islands are just floating? Like, what the hell? And he's in Congress.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was in the Senate or the House, but still, he was an elected official and thinks islands might be able to tip over.
How else do you explain what happened to Atlantis? Come on.
Okay, there you go. It's so embarrassing. Our government's so dumb.
That's one of those things where it's so embarrassing you feel embarrassed for them.
It's hard to watch, kind of a thing. Like,
yeah.
oh, like this is captured forever. Okay. Oh yeah. So we're done with Zarek's comments. So thanks a lot, Zarek. Awesome as always. Dumez comments and he says, "Hey, check out the movie A Scanner Darkly. It's totally badass. Woody Harrelson, Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., and also Winona Ryder's in it." He says it's a very dark, drug-infested, weird, dark, confusing story. It was so good. It was the very first Blu-ray I ever bought. Actually, just a couple of months ago. He now has 3 Blu-rays: A Scanner Darkly and the 2 from Angry Video Game Nerd. So, excellent selection. Philip K. Dick is the author of. I don't know if his book is called A Scanner Darkly.
I think it might be. I think that's like the one they took the
actual title from. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that has that really neat animation where they filmed everybody, but then they had like the shell shaded graphics over it. I loved that movie. That was another case of Keanu Reeves being in an awesome movie and me just thinking Keanu Reeves is awesome. I love so many movies that he's in, but a lot of people shit on him. But yeah. I'm a supporter. I like him a lot. He's also a very good interviewer. I think I've talked about it before. He did a documentary himself about digital film versus traditional film.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Freaking great. So
he can also shoot
guns.
Yeah, like he recently it came out that he was like he was running like a 3-gun range, shotgun, pistol, rifle. And like I knew he had some training with the way that he
like in the Matrix and stuff, the way he held guns and stuff.
More so in John Wick.
Oh, okay.
Like just the way he would aim, index, and reload. But yeah, he can shoot pretty well. I'm sure it's all over the internet. Like if you Google Keanu Reeves shooting.
I will look at that because I think he's badass.
But I mean, everybody should have known that from Point Break.
True. I haven't seen that in so long. I need to rewatch that.
That's one of the Blu-rays I own.
I have a good Blu-ray collection. I don't have A Scanner Darkly though, so I do hope to remember to buy that soon. Because that's one that's definitely a glaring hole in my Blu-ray collection. Game of Thrones Blu-ray comes out next week for season 5. I'm excited.
Oh, snap. I've never seen a single episode.
Because whenever Blu-ray comes out, then that means you're right on the cusp of the next season. That's great. Well, at least now, if you, 10 years from now, if you get crazy and dive in, you'll be able to just go with it, you know?
Yeah, maybe that next book will come out.
Well, that's what's really interesting is the next book's not out, but the show's going on. So there's going to be a big split. So now it's a situation where the lazy TV watchers like me who didn't want to read the books, might have access to spoilers for the books. Where it's always been the other way around. I haven't had anything spoiled for me up to this point, which is great. I've had some people speculate stuff that I wouldn't have thought myself, which has kind of bummed me out, but...
Until they do it like Dragon Ball Z, where the show caught up to the manga, and they just put out episodes of people like staring at each other from like across a battlefield and powering up for like episodes on end.
What was I watching? Someone was talking about anime, and they're like, but I hate the filler episodes where nothing happens. So I think that's what you're talking about.
It was like half a season of that.
Ugh. I never got into Dragon Ball Z. So anyways, Dumbass says, what is weird is I've never met a Mormon that was not devout. They are never casual or dabble, all in.
Just like
heroin.
Oh my gosh.
Just like, do you think John Smith, when he was looking into his golden hat or whatever, is that a guy's name, John Smith?
Something like that.
I don't know. It's like a generic American name.
Yeah.
You think he was on heroin when he was looking in his hat saying Jesus was here in the States?
I don't think so. Like it's not a hallucinatory drug, right? It's just a downer.
I don't know.
All right, here's what we need. No, I'm not even going to joke about that. Disregard. I was going to joke about one of our fans doing heroin for us.
Okay, how about this? If one of our listeners has done heroin, did you see anything?
Right.
We need here's the stipulation. We need them to have tried heroin and either acid or mushrooms.
Right.
We got to see like visual. I don't know, man. Everyone describes it being amazing, so I'm guessing that even if he was on heroin, he probably thought, I'm talking to Jesus through this hat. This is the new Bible.
But holy crap, don't do drugs, guys.
Don't. So anyways, Dumbass says, I've met tons of so-called Christians doing drugs, premarital sex, and every sin you can imagine. He says, I am damn dirty atheist, and it ain't nothing for me in either case. So then he goes on to say, when trouble troubles me, I am trouble. I don't know what that's from. He's going through some stuff that I can't tell if it's quotes I should know from Scanner Darkly, or maybe he's just listening to some music. But he goes and he says, when trouble troubles me, I trouble. Do you know? Does that ring a bell to you?
Mm-mm.
When forward pushes me, I push forward back.
Kick. Forward back kick.
There you go.
It's
the fireball.
Was that Liu Kang's jump kick?
It could be.
Or was that back forward kick? Oh, kick punch. It's all in the mind.
It's close. It's an MK2 combo in some by somebody. My two brothers have Gear VR, and from over the internet, they sat together and had a chat with avatars. That's pretty cool. He said so it really looked to them like they were in the same room talking to each other with their tracking and all that. Cool to see you can be unwashed or in underpants, and the other person will see you fully spiffed up.
So we're heading into like that 90s lawnmower man-esque type of like internet experience.
Yep. And everyone's going to credit Steven Spielberg with Ready Player One. But it's Ernie. Hey, Scott. When you were on the unlimited data plan, you were part of the problem and the reason we can't have nice things. Hey, that is true. But Zarek has been about 5 times more egregious consistently than I ever was.
And still is, right?
Yeah, although he did say that he's eyeing the S7, so I don't know if he'll just pay for that outright. Because I don't know what carrier he's on, but with Verizon, in order to get a subsidized phone, you had to change your plan to get off unlimited. So the way I was staying limited was I'd buy a generation behind phone off of eBay. because it would be 150, 200 bucks. It was what the subsidized price of a new phone was.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it had LTE or all that stuff, and I was in good shape. And then Mez has one last random comment that I don't know what it means. He says, "Don't fuck with another man's memory." And that sounded really familiar, so I Googled it. The closest thing I could come up with was a quote from Pulp Fiction about don't mess with another man's car or vehicle. So he's all cryptic for me. I don't know, man.
Were we talking about Cyberpunk or something?
You usually bring up Cyberpunk when you have an opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's a good chance.
Speaking of which, transhumanism. Let's talk about it. No.
So, okay, that should do it for the episode. We had another long one, so hopefully you guys enjoy. And at this point, oh, shoot. You know what I didn't do this week, Dustin?
What's that?
I did not find an outro song. So let's see here. I'm going through my SoundCloud. Nothing's quite jumping out.
You could use the second track off of Richie Branson's Ghost and Goblins second album.
Okay, there it is. So Richie Branson's second album. Is it a Ghost and Goblins album?
Yeah, it was like their second Halloween album. It was him, Mega Ran, and a bunch of other guys.
All right, so we will do that. It's not Halloween, but Ghosts and Goblins is badass, and Richie Branson's been on the show. So, and he also, if you watch any of our YouTube reviews or product reviews, any of that stuff, outro music that you hear in our videos that have an outro song, Richie Branson himself gave that to me he's like, hey, here's a chiptune kind of beat that I'm not going to use. Do you want it? And just emailed me the MP3 and gave me permission to use it whenever I wanted.
Handed you the cassette tape.
Which, yes. Were you on the phone when I did that? When I called Richie Branson?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Josh was like, oh no, everything is frozen. So we're going to have to wrap up the show. Okay. Hopefully this is all still recording, but OBS is freaking out on me. So yeah, everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 176 of the Classic Elite Podcast. Join us next week for episode 177. Don't do your thing yet, Dustin. I forgot to say social media stuff. Stitcher, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Search all of those places for Classic Elite and you'll find us. And then if you're interested in getting Richie Branson's song that you're going to hear here in a second, just go to classicelite.com and you will be able to support him and download it. So again, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week for a new episode.
Boosh!